Judy Paskell, who is a very long-standing member of the Manchester Campaign Against Climate Change. And as I've already said, the national campaign against climate change has formally backed the emergency programme. So you're very welcome, Judy, and off you go.
Thanks, Hilary. Climate change is brought to us by the same capitalist system which has brought us the coronavirus and probably future viruses as well. Climate change probably, though, remains the biggest threat to all of our futures. It's been almost buried since the pandemic started, but now the campaign against it has, but now it's regaining momentum, largely, I think, down to what John McDonnell mentioned, which is the idea of the green recovery. It so happens that the best way to rapidly reduce CO2 emissions and mitigate climate change in the UK is the same as the best way out of the looming crisis of unemployment that John mentioned. The solution to both is a huge programme of investment in green jobs, which are also called 1 million climate jobs, which my campaign has been campaigning for. How does that work? We must support all workers, as other speakers have said, who are threatened with redundancy. But at the same time, we must argue for a rapid, just transition where especially those working in climate destroying sectors like aviation, which, by the way, employs upwards of 25,000 people directly in the Greater Manchester region, so that those people can be redeployed and retrained in other sectors, for example, in land-based public transport, which of course we would want to expand and also make much greener by making it more electric and so on. The same goes for workers in the fossil fuel industry. All right, workers in the fossil fuel industry, many of them themselves are keen to move into the renewable sector if only they had the right training and the promise of a job at the end of it. John mentioned retrofitting homes to make them more energy efficient. That's really important as well. I wanted to mention that there's a wonderful campaign in Leeds by Leeds Trades Council demanding that their local council should introduce a huge programme of retrofitting houses, and of course that could provide thousands of jobs, and that's necessary in every part of the country, including Manchester. Boris Johnson has his own scheme of this kind, a retrofitting scheme, but be aware that it's completely paltry. It's 3 billion for the whole country. It's only relevant to homeowners and it's relying on the private sector. We need a huge public sector scheme. Boris Johnson.
Can you wind up, please, Judy?
Yeah, okay. Boris Johnson is so close to the fossil fuel industries and so on. We could never expect him to stand up to them. We have to fight for that. Rishi Sunak finally says we can't afford this sort of scheme. We can't even afford to keep the furlough going. My answers to that are two. One, yes, we can. Let's tax the rich. And two, we can't afford not to. Just as we have to keep the furlough going, just to keep a civilized society where people don't starve, we have to convert our industry to climate-friendly status and preserve a world for us all and our children to live in the future. And I intend to be on the demonstration putting that point of view next weekend. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, Judy. And I do agree that the climate change is utterly important, and we ignore it at our peril. And you're getting claps there. And I'd just like to say that Patrick has made the comment, I am sad that so many of the Greater Manchester councils are wedded to the airport and promises of cash, but the cost is too high.